Vapers, it's Sam. Welcome to another episode of Vaping Down Under, where we go through tutorials and some reviews. And for this particular video, I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how to do the tap method of O's, otherwise known as Cheerios. Before we get into the how-tos, I'm going to go over a quick couple pitfalls because there's a couple small little things you might want to know. The first thing, like with any kind of tricking, is you're going to want to have a max VG liquid. It's always better to have a max VG just because it's going to have thicker vapor. In this particular case, I'm using Scarlet Ladies, which I reviewed in a recent video from Vape Industries. Now the second pitfall that you want to look into is just how much airflow is around the room. Always try and make sure that the airflow is closed off, that you don't have a draft coming in from anywhere, as it will disrupt things for you. The next big pitfall that you come across when people are attempting to do Cheerios is the size of your mouth. And this mostly applies to single Cheerios, as double and triple Cheerios are going to close off enough of your mouth that it'll create a relatively small opening to begin with. But for single Cheerios, you want to keep in mind that anywhere from a small to medium type mouth shape, it does depend on the size of your individual mouth, of course. I have a small one, other people don't. But do look into having either a small or a medium size O shape for your mouth when you're doing single Cheerios. Another thing you do want to look out for is if you have long hair like I do, while it won't get in the way of all your tricks, especially stuff like single O's, it can get a little bit in the way, especially for double Cheerios. If your hair's hanging out in front of you and the double O's going to get in the way of the hair, or just having hair kind of sitting around your neck when you're tapping, that can also be kind of an issue. Another thing you want to look out for is it's a little bit easier to do your Cheerios standing up as opposed to sitting down, simply because when you're sitting down it will close up your diaphragm area a little bit, like choke it off a bit, and this is something you'll learn as a singer, that you're going to get better air control and breath control if you're standing up. It's not necessary, but it will help, so do consider that. The other thing is that it is good to angle downwards a little bit when you're starting. You would have seen in the examples that I start, angle down and come up. It's just a little bit easier, it gives you a bit more room to move with the O's because you want to have a clear path for all your O's as you do it. The next thing you want to look out for is simply how hard you tap. Before I tried Cheerios, I sort of expected that you'd have to tap relatively hard, and you don't. Okay, it is relative to the size of the O shape, so if you're doing single O's, tap a little bit harder, double O's a little bit softer, triple O's softer still. Now, to get into the nuts and bolts of it, the first thing is that single O's and double O's are more or less the same thing for Cheerios as you would expect based on how it looks. But single O's are actually a little bit harder simply because getting the right mouth shape for the single Cheerios is actually a little bit more difficult. I've been personally working on Cheerios for about 3 or 4 months now, and I'm still having a little bit of trouble with the single O's compared to the double O's. Now, regardless of what type of Cheerios you're doing, there is 2 ways to tap, or 2 places I should say. Either you can tap the side of your mouth, or you can tap under your chin, basically where your chin and your neck sort of meet, just above your Adam's apple right here. Now for single O's, as we're doing right now, I find it's actually a little bit easier to tap the side of your mouth, and you will see a lot of dudes who are really good at it tapping side of the mouth, and you'll see some guys tapping their neck. I personally think for single O's it's better to tap the mouth, and for doubles and triples it's easy to tap the neck. What you want to do, get your mouth shape. It's going to look stupid, as it always does, and it's a little bit like this. Okay? And then you want to make sure there's a little bit of space between your teeth, but basically that's where your finger's going to be. Now, it's a little bit better, I think, to tap further to the back of your mouth rather than the front, just because it gives it's pushing from behind instead of pushing the side or whatever. It's just a bit better. So look for where your jaw connects, right here, top to bottom, and get a little bit in from there. Feel where your teeth are, right there. A little bit of a gap, so you can, on the front you'll be able to fit your finger in between your teeth the full way, like that. But you're going to be tapping a little bit further back, so your finger won't be able to go completely between your teeth. Just a little bit, like that. So what you want to look at before you get into the double Cheerios is whether you're going to use one finger or two. Now, I personally prefer to have just one finger in front of my mouth. I use my middle finger simply because it's easier, not because I think it looks badass to throw out my root finger or anything like that. It's just simpler to use your middle finger. Now, whether you use one or two fingers will depend on the size of your mouth. Some people have bigger mouths, some people don't. Now, I use the one finger because I have a smaller mouth. If you have a bigger mouth, use two fingers. It just makes it easier, cuts off a little bit of that space so that it's easier for the Cheerios to come out. You don't have to tap as hard. So getting into the double Cheerios, all you're going to do is exhale a little bit, put that one or two fingers up to your mouth, right in the middle of course, like that. Now, and when you're doing this, whether it's one or two fingers, you want to pull your top lip down a little bit, help create a bit of a O sort of shape on either side. So I do that by simply having my mouth mostly closed before I do it, like this, and then opening, Okay, so I'm going to just give you guys a quick little zoom up of where to tap for the double Cheerios. You can see it's going to be right around here. You see right there? Just there, and about this hard, yeah? You can see it's not that hard. So that's basically all there is to Cheerios. I would love to get into showing you the triple Cheerios, but frankly, I'm not that good at them. So hopefully in a future video I might come back to this. I'll get to doing the triple Cheerios. That'd be really cool. I am working on it. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. There's not much to it. If you do have some success with your Cheerios, please let me know, whether it just be a comment on the video, or maybe you get on Instagram and tag me in your Cheerio video, show me your success. That would be awesome. Otherwise, hit that like button, comment for any other reason, give me some feedback, that's cool. Share it with your friends on other social media outlets, and please subscribe to my channel. I would love you.